Putting's putting. When you're putting... It's okay, buddy. It's just the mailman. I know, it's just a mailman. You want to go see him? Come here. Let's go see him.
Welcome to the Fellowship. My name is Adam Hawk. He is Ryan Engle. Together we are the Nation Golf Company. And can you hear it? Listen closely now. Shh. There it is. I believe I hear Dave Loggins tickling the ivory. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the sound of Augusta.
We're so near. We're so close. I can almost taste it. And you know what? Cue the fake birds. Just give me the whole fucking theatrical experience. I want it all, Adam. I love it.
For an immature child, today marks April Fool's Day. For the rest of us adults, today is the start of Masters Month. The countdown is on April 11th, 10 days away. And that's it. That's the podcast.
Yeah, we'll see ya. We ordered Taste of Augusta. Hopefully Adam's diet's done by then because I'm not going to be able to eat all this pimento myself. And you know what the best part about these little Augusta sandwiches we do here?
I think it's 2 words and the initials are WB.
My God, we're on the same wavelength. Folks, you ever see that white little plastic baggie with the cinch tie on the end and it's got the yellow, red, and blue bubbles surrounding the logo? Yeah, that's right, folks. It's the Wonder Bread. And for those of you who it's been too long, you know, you heard that it's bad for you and you've switched over to the whole wheat or Ezekiel bread or whatever abomination of bread you buy, just do yourself a favor, folks. Grab a slab of the Wonder Bread, throw it in the cart, go check out, get home, whip yourself up a sandwich with it, and tell me about it. You go to a real barbecue spot, you get a slice of Wonder Bread. Why not? Soak that baby up and eat it with whatever you ordered.
It's the best. Happy day after Easter to all the good Christians out there. I had a great day in church. Shout out to my good friend and pastor, Rob Burke. Just the best dude, a great sermon. You love to hear it. What you don't love to hear, or see in this case, is Ryan Engle, a fellow brother in Christ, attending the church of Nar Pow Pow yesterday. What's up, heathen? You traded in the church pews for the ski slopes. Luckily for you, God forgives. Would you like to atone here on the podcast?
Well, our church, Harbor Point, over in San Juan Capistrano, we have multiple services. So we went to the Saturday night one. It was epic. What's really cool about our church is the campus. They have a lot of stuff for the kids from toddler all the way to high school. And Palmer just upgraded to the 3-year-old class. It's way better for her because the other one was just like they just play around and get held a little bit. This one, it's more of like a school thing. We were a little nervous going into it, but she went and she absolutely loved it. So that was like a big win. But yeah, we went to the Saturday night one because we wanted to go skiing as a family on Sunday. Nothing better on Easter Sunday than being with family, Hawk.
All right, the Houston Children's Open is in the books. We have to talk some golf. I don't really want to, but we will because the ending warrants some talking about. But stay tuned because coming up later on today's podcast, we are going to answer the question of the decade. Is Coke Zero the new Diet Coke?
Ooh.
We're going to find out because I have arranged a blind taste test for the podcast, and we will do that just as soon as we get through the golf talk. Now, I didn't watch much of the Houston Children's Open this weekend, but I saw enough to watch Scottie Scheffler miss a 7-foot putt on the 72nd hole that would have forced a playoff, but instead he decelled himself to hell and lost the opportunity to become the first player since Dustin Johnson in 2017 to win 3 events in a row. So Steve Yeager is your champion. And we'll get back to that in just a second because I actually have a Steve Yeager adjacent story, but it must be asked, does that missed putt for Scottie Scheffler on the final hole hurt or help him going into the Masters? On one hand, he's not carrying a 3-event winning streak, and if you're superstitious, there's something about winning before the Masters that doesn't go that well at Augusta. On top of that, he proved that even with his average game, he's still the guy to beat. Now, on the other hand, everyone and their dog knows that Scottie Scheffler's Achilles heel is putting. Unlike Jesus Christ, Scottie Scheffler was unable to roll the rock on Easter Sunday, and it cost him the tournament. That was a resurrection joke, moving the rock from the tomb where he died.
Is that supposed to be funny?
It cost him the tournament, but it wasn't just the missed putt on 18. He missed a lot on Saturday. He missed a lot during the final round. Of all the things that could potentially stick in this guy's mind as he takes this week off before the Masters, feeling a renewed lack of confidence with the flat stick is probably the worst demon to wrestle with for 10 days. Ryan, your thoughts? Good or bad for Scottie Scheffler, or a moot point that he missed that final putt on 18?
It's for sure a moot point, and I'll tell you why, Adam. First of all, there's two things that you do not want if you want to win the Masters. One is winning the Shell Houston Open the week before, now 2 weeks before, but winning the tournament before. You don't want to do that because you just kind of jinxed yourself, and you don't want to lead after day one. Because both those things equal one thing, Hawk, and that is not a green jacket. If you're Scottie Scheffler and you're hot and you're figuring out the putter and your B and C game is sniffing victory week after week, and you just won 2 big tournaments, you're clearly the favorite going into Augusta. You do not want to win this week. It was nothing more than a warm-up. And what did we see? We saw a C game from Scottie Scheffler, and he had a putt to force a playoff. Now, everyone like yourself is going to pick the low-hanging fruit that's overripe, and they're going to go, oh, God, look at this lemon. Here's the deal, folks. Yeah, did he miss that putt? Of course he did, but that wasn't the important part. Anyone who knows golf knows this. He didn't have his game. He had a chance. He found the short stuff, and he stepped up to a 185-yard shot that no one was hitting tight with all the pressure on, must birdie to force the playoff, and he absolutely does what Scottie Scheffler always does. He flagged it with an absolute perfect iron shot, and I guarantee you he didn't lose a wink of sleep missing that putt. It was almost like, okay, phew, now I can get this monkey off my back so no one's going to overly favor my ass for this Masters. And I just proved to myself that I got the shot under pressure even without my best game. That dude's going to take this next week off, and he's going to show up to Augusta, and I'll tell you what, it's going to be hard not to put money on his name because, Hawk, that dude is leagues above everyone right now.
I don't want to read into that missed putt too much. It's not like this guy still isn't the dude to beat. It just is a touch concerning and worth talking about when the putting has been what has plagued him, and it ultimately was what cost him that tournament. But you don't see any cause for concern that his weak part of the game is what showed up on the 72nd hole in Houston.
Let me tell you something, folks. People take this low-hanging fruit take on Scottie Scheffler being a quote-unquote bad putter or the weakest part of his game because you're going off of what? Strokes gained putting. You know what matters? The only two things in all of golf stats that matter? Scoring average and proximity to the hole. And this guy is on a different stratosphere with the rest of the league. He's making the most birdies. If you're bad at putting and you're making the most birdies, that ball's going in. Last time I checked, if you're hitting it through a fucking tire all day, I'm going to bet on that guy. I'm not going to look down the stat list and go, oh, his strokes gained putting isn't that great. Doesn't have to be. If you're hitting every green, you're not one putting every hole. The smell test is scoring average and wins. Who's got it? Who's the guy? Who's the best player in the world right now? Oh, but it's putting. It's putting. Keep eating that low-hanging fruit, boys.
All right, I'll pay off my Steve Yeager story. It's not great, but I did meet Steve Yeager's wife at Riviera a year ago when we were following around Patton Kazire.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I remember that.
Yeah, so she was walking around by herself with AirPods in, and we struck up a conversation, and she said, oh, yeah, I'm married to Steve Yeager, who was playing in Patton's group. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, that's cool. And she's like, yeah, I don't really like golf. I'm out here to support. And I put my headphones in, and I just sit down in the grass and listen to podcasts. And I got to imagine that yesterday she was not zoned out listening to podcasts as her husband won his first event. Finally, on the Houston Children's Open, I have to apologize to Akshay Bhatia. I butchered his name last week. I called him Akshay Batari, and quite a number of people let me know about it, including
really?
Yeah, our friend Joe Eder was like, it's Bhatia, not Batari.
What does it matter?
That's what you guys got hung up on, was my mispronunciation of his last name?
I still don't even know who you're talking about.
I am talking about, and this is what I want to double down on this week, the goofiest looking golfer in the history of the game.
I'm Googling it right now.
And I use that term very intentionally. It's not because I can't think of a better word.
Oh, it's that skinny guy.
Yeah, but look at the Where's Waldo glasses, the long hair. He weighs 90 pounds. He wears joggers. He wears floral print shirts. He is the goofiest looking golfer I have ever seen. He's a goofball, an absolute goofball.
He looks like a guy who got kicked out of Good and joined the PGA Tour.
Goof.
Goof. Remember that like video that was going around and his shorts were like a 3-inch inseam?
Yep.
And not only that, they were so skin tight, you're like, okay, well, we know there's a elastane in there because if those were 100% cotton, they'd rip when you bent over to put your tee in the ground, dude.
And what did you comment on that post which showed those short shorts?
Oh, I said something funny, didn't I? Got a lot of hate, too.
Something about didn't know boxer shorts had belt loops.
Oh, yeah. God, that's a good one.
So good you couldn't remember it.
Yeah, well, I say a lot of good stuff around here, Adam.
Well, he was threatening to win, and a lot of people texted me, Akshay's going to win because you talk shit about him on the podcast.
Did we talk shit about him?
Well, just that he's a goofball.
That is not talking shit.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't know what your definition of talking shit is out there. Talking shit is like, I hate that guy. He sucks. Let me tell you why. We don't hate anyone. But if you're going to be a goofy dumbass and we poke fun at it, that's not talking shit.
And I like Akshay. He's part of the Sea Island Mafia. He interviews well. He's just goofy.
Yeah. Who is that tall and weighs 140 pounds? You're goofy looking. Fucking good for you, man. I'm glad he's making money.
Yeah, and everyone's texting me that he was going to win, and I saw Scottie Scheffler's name on the leaderboard, and I just wrote back, not in any universe is Akshay Bhatia winning this tournament.
Yeah.
And then he didn't even finish on the front page. I was at my other job this past week, and a debate broke out. And frankly, it's the debate of the decade. I think we all know what I'm talking about. It's 2024, and everyone knows choices have to be made. Sooner than later, we're all going to have to go to the ballot and cast our votes. And now I know a lot of people aren't excited to make a decision, but this is America, and we have a job to do. Freedom has a price, and this is the price we have to pay. So today, we're voting early on the most important race of our lifetime. And of course, you all know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Diet Coke versus Coke Zero. Diet Coke, we could be here all day singing its praises from the mountaintops. There's a reason Diet Coke is commonly referred to as black gold.
It's the real silver bullet.
Are you reading my notes? Because
Did you say that in there?
introduced 41 years ago in 1982, the OG Silver Bullet has
no way!
The OG Silver Bullet has enjoyed top dog status since birth. It's the diet drink of record. We love it, and when you add a lemon wedge, 3 words for you. Look out now.
Is it just me, or do they put more carbonation in Diet Coke?
We're going to find out here shortly.
You know what I'm saying?
However, in a twist of cannibalism of the highest degree, the Coca-Cola Company has a newcomer, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is Coke Zero.
And boy, did they come out with a guns a-blazing, Hawk.
Now, pour one out for the Pepsi-Cola Company, who is just sitting on the sidelines getting absolutely dusted. It's one thing for every waitress in the world to damn near apologize when you ask for a Coke and they have to say, is Pepsi okay? But it's entirely another thing when Coke has the best soft drink, the best diet drink, and now potentially the best zero sugar drink. Hear it from San Clemente, California, Pepsi. Take a lap.
You know, I will give Pepsi some props. They at least went back to their like more older looking logo as of late. It makes their can on the shelf look a little more desirable, but their regular cola is just too damn sweet, and their Diet Cola just doesn't quite hit the mark. I mean, when was the last time we went to Taco Bell and you get a Diet Pepsi from Taco Bell and you take one sip and you're like, Their machine's broken.
Yeah.
Like, what's wrong with that shit?
Exactly.
It's so bad.
Taco Bell pours the worst soft drinks in America. And what do you know? They have Pepsi. Side note, and we will continue with our bit here in just a second. Costco switching to Pepsi was
That's a crime against humanity.
It's the worst thing to ever happen to the world's greatest food court. Now, Coke Zero is not as new as we think. Apparently, Coke Zero was introduced nearly 20 years ago. Nearly 20 years ago in 2005, and then reformulated in 2017 and reformulated yet again in 2021. You know what they say, folks? Third time's a charm.
And boy, is it ever.
Are you reading my notes?
No.
Because the next line says, as Ryan Engle would say, ain't that the truth?
Wow, what a bit.
The 2021 version of Coke Zero is so good that I am convinced Coke Zero is short for
the best thing to happen after COVID. Is that in your notes too?
I am convinced that Coke Zero is short for Coke 0% chance this is sugar-free.
Yeah, you're right.
It's unreal.
It's too good to be true.
It's so damn good. And I think what Coke Zero offers that Diet Coke doesn't is that malty syrup thickness you get in a regular Coke. Now, I will say this. It's my one qualm with Coke Zero. I take exception with Coke Zero's tagline. The tagline for Coke Zero is, quote, the best Coke ever, end quote. Look, it's damn good. We've covered that. But the best Coke ever, I can name 3 Cokes better than Coke Zero. Regular Coke is better because it's regular Coke. Mexican Coke in a glass bottle, give me a break.
That's number 1.
That's the best of all time. And finally, I've never had it, but I have to imagine that the original Coke with actual cocaine in it was pretty damn good too.
I tell you what, if I'm Marty McFly, the first thing I'm doing when I'm stepping out of the DeLorean and getting on my hoverboard is I'm going back in time and getting a goddamn Coke with cocaine. I mean, you gotta try it, right? I mean, what are we talking about here? That might be the greatest thing ever invented.
Now, today we are going to find out, is Coke Zero actually Coke Hero? Can Coke Zero, in a blind taste test, outperform the mainstay Diet Coke?
I want to make a disclaimer here because I don't want these younglings to interject. So for all you sweet tooths out there, Coca-Cola, yeah, when you're a child, you drink Coca-Cola. Why? Because it's the sweetest. But when you grow up and become a man and acquire that taste for coffee and cocktails and beer, you realize, it's not all about sweet. There's a maturity to your taste buds. And that is why real men switch to Diet Coke. Because real Coke, let's face it, is for kids.
So we're about to find out, can Coke Zero in a blind taste test outperform the mainstay Diet Coke? I have both on hand, chilling in the fridge.
And you love to taste it.
And after this quick jazz interlude, Ryan Engle will play the role of guinea pig, and he will determine who the top dog really is. And welcome to the jazz interlude, folks. For those of you that want to play along at home on this blind taste test, in cup number 1 is Coke Zero. In cup number 2 is Diet Coke. In cup number 3 is Diet Coke with a squeeze of lemon wedge. And in cup number 4 is Coke Zero with a squeeze of lemon wedge. I don't expect you to remember any of that as we are doing a very visual bit over an audio medium. So I will play some sound drops indicating whether Ryan Engle is guessing correctly or incorrectly as the bit continues. Ryan will not be hearing these sound drops while we are doing the bit. I will add them in afterwards. So understand that this is all on the up and up. It's merely to keep you clued in as to what's going on. We'll be right back. And we are back. Sitting in front of Ryan Engle right now are 4 clear plastic cups with 4 different beverages in them. I have a piece of paper that reminds me what is in what cup. If you're wondering why there are 4 and not 2, there is in one of these cups Diet Coke with lemon and in another Coke Zero with lemon as well.
And this is real lemon, not the ones that come condition.
Yes, we got a lemon wedge. So in 4 cups, there are Coke Zero, there's Diet Coke, there's Coke Zero with lemon, and there is Diet Coke with lemon. We are testing 4 different beverages right now. I want to test as many of your senses as possible. So the first one will be sight. Based on sight alone, can you tell me what is in cup number 1?
I'm going to say Diet Coke with lemon.
What is in cup number 2?
I'm going to say Coke Zero with lemon.
Okay, what is in cup number 3?
I'm going to go Coke Zero regular, and then cup number 4, Diet Coke. So hard to tell.
Okay, so that is your sight. Now let's test your smell. Smell them and see if anything changes.
I'm going Coke Zero regular on 1.
Okay. He's smelling all of the cups right now, ladies and gentlemen. He believes what's in cup number 1 based on smell is Coke Zero.
God dang, dude.
What is in cup number 2 based on smell?
I'm going to go Diet Coke.
Diet Coke in cup number 2. What is in cup 3?
I'm going to go Coke Zero lemon, and then cup 4, Diet Coke lemon.
Okay.
But, now I'm all fucked up because the sight and the smell test just really screwed the pooch.
Yep, we are trying to throw you for a loop here to make this a true blind taste test. We would agree that it's not enough on sight, but you feel more confident after smelling it what's in what.
Not really. I feel like 4 is the only one that's maybe distinguishable to have lemon in it, but looking at all of them and the smell of 1, it's all a crapshoot at this point. I got to go on the taste buds.
Okay, so we're going to do 2 taste tests. The first thing you are going to taste for is what tastes the best. So you're not going to tell me what's in them. You're just going to rank them what tastes the best, and then you will try to tell me what's in them after this. And folks, he just got a palate cleanser. It's vitamin water.
I got a palate cleanser because I didn't want to disrupt the buds, right?
Yep.
Palate cleanser first.
Okay, folks, he is going to try cup number 1. He is rating for taste. He is not trying to identify. He is rating for taste. You have tried cup number 1. Please move to cup number 2. We are now moving to cup number 2. He has tried cup number 2. He is palate cleansing. We are halfway through the first taste test. He's going on to cup number 3. 1 sip, now a smell, now a second sip. He's really into this exercise. You love to see it. You love when you can get passion out of a passionless human being. He's enjoying this bit. He just palate cleansed, and he is trying cup number 4. You have tried all of them. Can you rank them based on your favorite?
God, they're all so good.
Aren't they?
Oh, my goodness gracious.
Which one is the best? What is your favorite?
I think I'm going to go 4.
4 is the best. You're loving 4. He went back for a second test.
I'm loving 4.
Okay, 4 is number 1. What is number 2?
I'd go 2.
Okay.
And then 3-1.
Then 3-1. Okay, very good. Now you are going to taste them again, and you are going to try to identify what they are. Now you will try each one, and you will tell me what you think they are.
Number 1 is Diet Coke regular.
He is trying number 2. He's comparing it to number 3. He's trying to figure out what number 2 is.
Number 2 is Diet Coke with lemon.
Number 2 is Diet Coke with lemon.
Number 3 is Coke Zero. And number 4 is Coke Zero with lemon.
All right, Coke Zero. And then you said number 4 is Coke Zero with lemon. Okay. You are 1 for 4 on what each one is. In cup number 1 is Coke Zero. That is Coke Zero. Cup number 2 is Diet Coke.
I can taste it now.
Yeah, okay. And go for cup number 3. This is Diet Coke with lemon. And cup number 4 is Coke Zero with lemon. In terms of how you ranked them, your favorite was Coke Zero with lemon.
I mean, that's going to be obvious.
Your second favorite was Diet Coke. Your third favorite was Diet Coke with lemon. And coming in last place was Coke Zero.
This is a really neat exercise. I think the 2 tests above the taste test definitely threw me off a little bit. And then also adding the lemon factor threw me off. I think if we went stone cold, out of the can, blind taste test 0 versus DC, it just would have been too easy. So, fun exercise. This is what I'll say about Diet Coke versus Coke Zero. As you get older, like I've talked about, our maturing of the taste buds, you acquire a sense of liking the funk, is what I like to call it. When you're a Grom and you're dipping your chicken fingers and your fries in the ranch, you're like, oh, this ranch is so good. Because it's sweet, it's easy. But as you get a little older, you start entering into a whole new world, folks. It's the world of blue cheese. And you realize, why would I want ranch when I can have some funky, chunky blue cheese? And I'll tell you, Coke Zero's good. It's really good. But it's kind of like the ranch and the Diet Coke, the funk. I kind of want that bite. If I'm going to choose hot day, ice cold can, I think I got to go with Diet Coke. Because although it might not taste the best, it's kind of what I want.
It's not easy to do a blind taste test. I threw a lot at you. Not only did I blindfold you, I spun you around dizzy by adding the lemon wedge component into it. You were trying 4 beverages back to back to back to back that not only look the same, but smell the same. And I think we can definitively say after this blind taste test that they taste very similar as well.
They're so damn close. Like, I just tasted them again, and 1 and 2 are so close. But now knowing 2 has that distinct Diet Coke aftertaste, which when you first switch to Diet Coke, you don't like it. It's got to grow on you. But once it does, we're talking blue cheese, baby.
How much of this comes down to marketing for you? You see a silver can of Diet Coke. It's elegant. It's beautiful. The Diet is written in cursive. The Coke is big. It's bold. It's red. It's the only time where you will see Coke spelled out C-O-K-E. The rest of the time, Coca-Cola presents its product as Coca-Cola. So how much of it is the silver bullet versus the red can with the black font, Coke Zero?
Our house now, because Katie Kai's dad, he switched to Coke Zero a couple years ago. The Coke we have at home is Coke Zero. So if I'm sneaking a treat, I'm drinking a Coke Zero. I got to say, I really miss those DCs in the fridge, and there's something so much cooler about them. They look a little worse for you. There's a cool factor. There's an it factor. I think I'm a DC guy.
There you go.
I will say this. I really appreciate the Coca-Cola Company.
Don't you?
I mean, what they have done, here they have the 2 best products in their genre. And it's not even close. They're the best. Let's add a third. Now, normally that would be a big mistake. But they added a third, folks. And the third has earned a seat at the table, Adam. Do I miss DC in the fridge? I do. Is it a cooler can? It is. Is it what I'm going to order in the fast food lines more often than not? It is. But am I going to shy away from Coke Zero? I am not. You love to drink it, Adam. You love it. You love to drink it.
And there you have it, folks. I don't know what we determined other than the fact that Coca-Cola is running circles around everybody else. It's one thing to bring your country to the Olympics and get on the podium. It's entirely another to occupy spots 1, 2, and 3. And as we get out, Ryan Engle is now mixing all 4 cups into one concoction. We call this Diet Coke Zero with lemon, and he's about to try it. A lot of carbonation on that, and how is it?
Wow.
Really?
I think we need to call the Coca-Cola Company because we just discovered something.
We need the graveyard, Diet Coke, Zero with lemon. Thank you so much for listening. We are very excited to do the podcast this month. We've got the Masters, we've got the Powwow, the Nation Desert Classic is coming up in May. On top of that, today is the final day of a wonderful sale that we are running at nationgolf.com. Head on over to the sale tab, check it out. Everything is marked down, priced to sell. Go check that out, and thank you so much for listening to the podcast.